today, which is on your digestive system. This is one of the most important part of your human body. I'm going to be explaining the parts of the digestive system. Then I'll be moving on how food travels in digestive system. So let's get started. So first, when we eat food, it goes to our mouth, where mouth breaks up food particles. When we chew, mouth breaks up food particles. And then the salivary glands moistures and lubricates food. The salivary glands produce saliva. Simple. The salivary glands produce saliva, which moistures and lubricates the food. So it's not that hard to digest. It will be a bit moistured, so it will be easier for the food to digest. From there, as you can see this arrow, it goes to the pharynx. This is the pharynx. Pharynx directs food into the stomach to prevent choking. So pharynx directs food into the stomach to prevent choking. So with the help of pharynx, you don't choke, or sometimes when you eat, you can actually choke. So pharynx, it helps to prevent food from, pharynx prevents you from choking. Then the food goes to the esophagus, which is this pipe here. Esophagus carries food to the stomach. So it's like it is the path which food goes to your stomach. So pharynx, it directs food into the stomach to prevent choking. So with the help of pharynx, you don't choke. And esophagus is the path which leads food to the stomach. So esophagus carries food to the stomach. This pipe is the esophagus. Then the arrow comes to the stomach. This is the stomach. It has a bit this kind of shape. The stomach secretes, means produces gastric acid and gastric juices and hydrochloric acid, which is HCl. So your stomach, this produces or secretes gastric juices and hydrochloric acid. It also stores and churns food. And there is an enzyme found in your stomach named pepsin, which digests protein. So enzymes, different types of enzymes digest different types of things. Like pepsin digests protein. So pepsin enzyme digests protein. There are other enzymes for other things like carbohydrates. So for protein, pepsin digests. So you can remember P for pepsin, P for protein. So which enzyme digests protein? Pepsin. There's a drink, Pepsi. So you can remember pepsin digests protein. Pepsin digests protein. In your stomach, the stomach produces gastric juices and hydrochloric acid, which is also known as HCl. It also stores and churns food, and there is an enzyme that is produced in the stomach that digests protein. So pepsin digests protein, the juice Pepsi. So pepsin digests protein, PP. Then this is the liver. Liver is the largest organ, and the liver makes bile. So bile is a fluid. Bile is not an enzyme, it is a fluid. So bile, a fluid that breaks down fat. As I mentioned, there are different enzymes digesting different things. So pepsin digests protein. Likewise, bile digests fat. But bile is not an enzyme. It is a fluid. Bile is a fluid, not an enzyme. Pepsin is an enzyme. E-N-Z-Y-M-E. You can get this question. So pepsin, an enzyme, digests protein. But bile, a fluid, digests fat. So remember that. Fluid, fat. F, P. So you get that a little bit easy for you. That's why I'm just giving you some points like you can remember. Pepsin digests protein, PP. Pepsin is a drink. So pepsin, bile that is made in the liver is a fluid that digests or break down fat. So fluid, fat. Your liver also stores vitamins and ions. Vitamins and ions are very important things for your body. And from your stomach, it goes into your large intestine. What is the role of the large intestine? So before that, let me explain what pancreas is. This is the pancreas. Pancreas makes insulin and regulates blood sugar level. So insulin, there are two types of diabetes. So insulin is a type of sugar that pancreas makes. It's not sugar, but pancreas makes insulin. So this is where insulin is made. In type 2 diabetes, your pancreas cannot produce insulin. So when you have type 2 diabetes, that means your pancreas is not working. But that means your pancreas is not making insulin for your body. In type 2 diabetes, type 1 diabetes, pancreas does not produce enough insulin. In type 2 diabetes, pancreas does not produce any insulin. So you can remember like that. Type 1 diabetes, it does not produce enough insulin for your body. But in type 2 diabetes, it does not produce any insulin. So it is, just remember that point. You can get it in a health science. Type 1 does not produce enough insulin, your pancreas. Type 2 diabetes, it does not produce any insulin. But pancreas needs to make insulin for your body because it's important. Otherwise, you'll have diabetes. So pancreas makes insulin and regulates your blood sugar level. Insulin is related to sugar. So pancreas regulates blood sugar level. Now we move on to large intestine. Large intestine is also known as colon. C-O-L-O-N. C-O-L-O-N. Colon. Large intestine. Your large intestine absorbs water and electrolytes from stool. Stool is your feces. That means your number 2 that you do in the washroom. So large intestine absorbs water and electrolytes from your stool. That means your number 2 if you don't get what stool is. After that, it goes to the small intestine. So the small intestine, okay, before that, let's just talk about what gallbladder is. Gallbladder stores bile and empties it in the small intestine. So liver and gallbladder are friends. They are best friends. No one can separate them. So liver makes bile, gallbladder stores bile. So liver makes bile, a fluid that breaks down fat, and gallbladder stores that bile and empties it in the small intestine. So bile is made here, bile is stored here, and then bile is emptied here. So get it? It's a process, okay? Just learn it in simple terms. Bile is made here, bile is stored here, and then bile is emptied here. Don't forget that. Bile is made here in the liver, then goes to the best friend, gallbladder, where it is stored, and then bile, and then gallbladder does not want bile anymore, so it goes and empties it in the small intestine. Made here, stored here, and emptied over here. So let me just rub it off now. So don't forget that that's a very important thing in your lesson. If you remember it like it will be more easier for you to remember. Made here, stored here, emptied here. Set? Now let's go to the small intestine. This small intestine, it digests proteins, fats and carbohydrates. So your small intestine has certain enzymes in it that digest proteins, fats and carbohydrates. So most of the proteins is digested by pepsin that is found in the stomach, but there are also pepsin that is found over here. So in the small intestine, there are other enzymes that digest proteins, fats and carbohydrates. Don't forget your stomach. It has an enzyme that digests protein, which is a pepsin. But your small intestine digests other types of proteins, fats and carbohydrates. So most of the protein is digested here and most of the fat is broken down here. But the small intestine digests the other proteins and fats are left and carbohydrates. Then let's look at appendix. Appendix is a bag. It's a type of bag that is down here. There is no more explanation for that. Just remember that this is appendix. Now let's go to a rectum. So this part is your rectum, just above your anus. Just above your anus is your rectum. Rectum stores and expels feces. Feces, again, it's your stool, that means your number 2. So your rectum, it stores your feces. So when you eat food, okay, so example, you eat food, so where does it go? So it goes through the whole digestion process and it comes over here in your feces and it is stored over here. This is the part where your feces is stored. You eat the whole day and it digests the whole time, and then it goes and stores here. When you go to the washroom and you do number 2, that's when anus comes. Then anus is the opening at the end where the bowel movement leaves. So that means throughout the day, whenever you eat, it digests, comes to your rectum and is stored here. When you visit the washroom, it all just goes down, or your stool goes down with the help of the anus. This anus is when this opening at the end where the bowel movement leaves. That means in number 2, your stool or your feces leaves. So let's just go over this once again so remember it. Just a quick revision times. Mouth, you chew food, that means it breaks down food particles. The salivary glands, it moistures and lubricates the food. So it's easier for the food to digest. It's a bit moisture. Then your pharynx. Pharynx directs food into the stomach to prevent choking. Sometimes when you eat, you can choke actually. You can actually choke. But with the help of the pharynx, you don't choke. This is the location of the pharynx. This part is the esophagus. The esophagus carries food to the stomach. That's simple. Prevent choking and carries food to the stomach. The stomach, don't forget, it produces or secretes gastric juices and hydrochloric acid, which is also known as HCl. It also stores and churns food, and there's an enzyme named pepsin which digests protein. Pepsin P, protein P. And pepsin, you can remember there's a drink Pepsi. So pepsin digests protein. Okay. The liver, it is the largest part in the digestive system. It makes bile. Bile is a fluid, not an enzyme, a fluid that breaks down fat. You can remember fluid F, fat F. So fluid, fat. Okay. It also stores vitamin and iron. Your pancreas, it makes insulin. What does it make? It produces or makes insulin, and it regulates your blood sugar level. Just down below your stomach is your pancreas. One more thing about pancreas. Type 1 diabetes is when your pancreas does not produce enough insulin. Enough insulin. In type 2 diabetes, your pancreas does not produce any insulin. So if your pancreas does not produce any insulin, and for type 2 diabetes, you'll see some people have a black type of thing here they connect, and they have a bag. So that's when you don't have insulin in your body. You have to wear this thing so that you survive, because if you don't have insulin, you won't survive. It's a part of the body. Then comes the large intestine, which is also known as colon. They absorb water and electrolytes from the stool. They absorb water and electrolytes from your stool. Stool number 2 or your feces. But in school when you write exams, please use stool or feces. Don't write number 2 because that's not a subject. The gallbladder, it stores bile and empties in the small intestine. So as I told you, liver and gallbladder are best friends. Liver produces bile, gallbladder stores bile, and after that it's done, it just goes and empties in the small intestine. Produces, stores, empties. Your small intestine digests proteins, fats and carbohydrates. They have certain type of enzymes found in the small intestine which digest your proteins, your fats and your carbohydrates. Then comes your rectum. This is your rectum. So in your rectum, the whole day whatever you eat, it is going through this digestion process and it comes and gets stored in the rectum. When you go and visit the washroom, the stool leaves the body from the anus. Anus is the opening at the end where bowel movement leaves. So guys, the process of food going through your body till coming to your anus is absolutely same. I explained to you the parts and how the food travels. So from the mouth, salivary glands produces saliva, then it goes to your esophagus, to your stomach, then from there it goes to your large intestine, then your small intestine, and it goes all around, then comes to your rectum and then down your anus. So it's absolutely the same, but you have to remember all the parts and functions and how it goes. So guys, food moves through the GI tract by a process called Peristalsis. Peristalsis. Peristalsis is a muscular contraction. So your food moves through the GI tract by a process called peristalsis. So if you don't remember the pronunciation, you can remember like this. Peris, okay, peris, then tal, then cis. Peristalsis. So food moves through the GI tract by a process called peristalsis, which is a muscular contraction. So if you didn't know, there are two types of digestion. First, it's a chemical digestion, and the second type of digestion is the mechanical digestion. So what happens in the chemical digestion? Chemical digestion, it occurs in the mouth, stomach, and the intestine, where enzymes break down food. So just remember four key points in this: mouth, stomach, intestine, and enzymes. So in the chemical digestion, it occurs in the mouth, the stomach, and intestine, where enzymes break down food. As I told you earlier, enzymes break down certain things like pepsin breaks down protein. So in chemical digestion, it occurs in the mouth, stomach, and intestine. Mouth, stomach, and intestine, where enzymes break down food. In the mouth, stomach, and intestine, where enzymes break down food. Okay, so it occurs in the NSI, where E breaks down food. Okay, in the mechanical digestion, this is a bit long. It occurs in the mouth, where teeth grind and break down food, and in the esophagus, stomach, and small intestine, where a process called peristalsis pushes the food around, causing it to break down. So firstly, it occurs in the mouth. In the mouth, we have teeth. So the teeth grind. It grinds and break down food. So it occurs in, just remember the first part for now. It occurs in the mouth, where the teeth grind and break down the food. It occurs in the mouth, where the teeth grind and break down the food. After that, and in the esophagus, stomach, and small intestine. Esophagus, stomach, and small intestine. Os. You can remember that os. So, in the esophagus, stomach, and small intestine, there is a process called peristalsis, which pushes the food around, causing it to break down. Peristalsis is a muscular contraction. So, it pushes the food around, causing it to break down more further. So, let's revise it with the first and the second part. So, mechanical digestion, it occurs in the mouth, where teeth grind and break down food, and in the esophagus, stomach, and small intestine, where a process called peristalsis pushes the food around, causing it to break down further. So in the chemical, it occurs in the mouth, stomach, and intestine, where enzymes break down food. In the mechanical digestion, it occurs in the mouth, where teeth grind and break down food, and in the esophagus, stomach, and small intestine, where a process called peristalsis, muscular contraction, pushes the food further and causing it to break down. Set? Now, these are the three nutrients and how they're absorbed in your digestive tract. Carbohydrates or starch nutrients are absorbed as glucose. Protein nutrient is absorbed as amino acid, and fat nutrient is absorbed as fatty acid or glycerin. So, carbohydrates or starch are absorbed as glucose, protein is absorbed as amino acids, and fat is absorbed as fatty acid. Now, why are they absorbed like this, not like this? Because to enter the alimentary tract. So, to enter the alimentary tract, which is in the stomach, the food has to be smaller in particles. Like you have a sieve, okay? In Hindi we call it channi. So when you have a sieve, when you put something in that, like you put pulses. So pulses are quite big, so it can't go through. Only the water can go through. Like that, in your alimentary tract, in your stomach, alimentary tract acts as a sieve. So when you put carbohydrates or starch in it, it does not go through. But when it is absorbed in glucose, it can go through in your body. So that's the reason why carbohydrate or starch is absorbed in glucose, protein in amino acid, and fat in fatty acid. In order for these nutrients to pass through the alimentary tract / in other words sieve for easy remembrance, they have to be absorbed as these three so it can go through. So the sieve, only water can go through, small particles, but big particles like pulses, rice, it can't go through the sieve. That's how the starch, protein and fat can't go through the sieve. But when they absorb with glucose, amino acid and fatty acid, they can pass to the alimentary tract, which is in the stomach. Okay? So this was today's revision. I hope you all learned something new from my video, and I hope this was at least helpful to some of you. Or if you learn something from my video, please like my video, share my video. So if you learned something new, if you enjoyed my video, please like, share and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and turn on this post notification bell so you can stay updated for my next video. For today, bye guys.